cricket is often remembered through scorecards: who scored how many runs, who took how many wickets, and who eventually lifted the trophy. But the game is rarely decided by numbers alone. It is shaped by decisions in critical moments, by composure under pressure, by leadership skills and qualities, by clarity of roles, and by patterns that quietly repeat across seasons, often without us even realizing it or noticing it. But nowhere this is more visible than in IPL. Different teams, different captains, different squads. Yet the deeper question remains, are the reasons behind their success really that different? Hello, my name is Chinmay, and along with Sanlap, I welcome you to Deep Point, where we go beyond the scorecards and decode the stories, narratives, and patterns that shape the game. Salap, today's video is not just a nostalgic recap of IPL winners. Today we are asking a bigger question, right? What actually makes an IPL champion? Because when you look at Rajasthan Royals in 2008, Deccan Chargers in 2009, the Dhoni era, CSK, the Rohit era, MI, the Gambhir-led KKR, the Warner-led Sunrisers, the debutant Gujarat Titans, and then RCV finally winning in 2025. These are very different teams on papers, on the surface, but underneath there are some repeating championship patterns. And this is where this discussion is so interesting, and we were actually having a chat informally about this. So we generally talk about this team won, that team won, but we really don't understand why. What was the formula? Was that the star power? Was that the bowling lineup? Was that the auction strategy? Was that the team composition that they had? Or was it something else? So let's start with the list of winners who won the IPLs over different seasons, and then we will deep dive into all the campaigns that these champion teams had. So in 2008, Rajasthan Royals won the IPL. In 2009, Deccan Chargers. 2010 and 11, CSK. 12, KKR. 13, Mumbai Indians. 14, again KKR. 15, MI. 16, SRH. 17, MI. 18, I think, again CSK. 19 and 20, MI. 21, CSK again. 22, Gujarat Titans. 23, again CSK. 24, again KKR, and finally in 2025, we finally had RCB as the winner, right? So this is the list we have, but let's deep dive into all these champion teams and what led to their win, and what their obviously their journeys that they had in those seasons and their campaign. So let's start with 2008 and Rajasthan Royals, a team of young players led by our great players, Shane Warne. So let's talk about this team, and then we will move to other teams and other champions.
Yeah, it definitely had Shane Warne as the mentor and the captain together. So that's the season where the same person was the coach and as well as the captain. If we look at the team, so along with Shane Warne and the youngsters, there were two prominent figures in the team who were extremely experienced in the world cricket, and they also played a very integral role in their campaign of the victory. That is, one is Graham Smith, and the other was Shane Watson. So these two players were extremely important in that entire campaign. And as you said, that campaign was all about the Indian youngsters. I think that one season we understood the importance of the Indian youngsters because 2008, if we remember it, the glamour of IPL was all about the overseas players. We were talking about
mm,
which teams are having, the deadlier overseas players like KKR took Gale and McCallum. Deccan Chargers were having a series of blasting overseas players, Afridi, Simons, then Herschel Gibbs, all were part of Deccan Chargers team. Mumbai Indians had players like Sanat Jayasuriya. Of course, Gilchrist was also in Deccan Chargers. How can I forget?
mm,
Chennai Super
mm,
Kings had Michael Hussey, Matthew Hayden. Players of that stature were taken by Chennai Super Kings. So everyone was talking about more of, the overseas players. Now, out of that, one team that was filled with Indian youngsters, and like I don't think any youngster was, any Indian player was that much of an exposed international player in terms of the experience and, in terms of the big name that was had by Rajasthan Royals, except Yusuf Pathan. Yusuf Pathan also did not
mm,
have become the Yusuf Pathan
mm,
before that. Yusuf Pathan was also a big revelation in 2008. So
mm,
because of one of some of his blistering knocks, I think in that season, if we look at the youngsters, players like Swapnil Asnotkar from Goa, who had a brilliant season, players like Siddharth Trivedi, players like Ravindra Jadeja came up in that season only.
mm,
So a lot of youngsters, along with a few international stars like Green Smith, Shane Watson, Suhail Tanvir. Suhail Tanvir was the Purple Cap winner that season.
right.
So yeah, so that was the way things actually. If you look at the team, nobody expected that team to, hold the title. And finally,
Mm,
Rajasthan Royals, they kept their campaign moving. They topped the league table, though they did not have the best of the starts. They picked up after a couple of matches, and finally they topped the table and become the winners. I think CSK was the runner-up that season. And if we look
mm,
at the way they played, I think it was clinical. And after that, a lot of people made national entry. Ravindra Jadeja was the first one to enter the national side. Yusuf Pathan got a very direct national entry right after the IPL campaign. And if we look at those days, I think that first season it was so exciting. Nobody knew about these players, and
mm,
they became the surprise package. Yeah. So
mm.
what are your memories of
Yeah.
2008?
Yeah, I think as far as I remember, I think they were the least cluttered team in
Yes.
terms of they had the clarity. So
Yes.
they did not have the burden or baggage of big names.
Yes.
So they somehow had that freedom. They
Mm,
somehow had that
mm,
clarity,
mm.
and we should also, and you already touched upon it, we should also highlight the tactical leadership of Shane Warne, the way
Absolutely.
he handled the team, he guided the team, and he was in a way the backbone in that sense of that team, and around him the whole team played really well. They actually
Absolutely.
surprised a lot of us,
Mm.
and they somehow, as you mentioned, they somehow showed the template to other teams
Yes.
going forward, that this is how you should utilize the Indian players and young
Mm,
players, and that's how you should groom them.
mm.
That's when you, and because earlier, and even that formula was not adopted in 2009-10 also, but from say 11-12, and the now we have that that kind of strategy where now we are investing in young players and seeing how say an unknown commodity can become a star later,
Mm,
and
mm.
that's the formula that other teams also adopted.
Right.
It was it was like a means underdog team that punched way beyond their capability, and
Absolutely.
they somehow played like a team. So
Mm, mm,
they
mm.
showed us when a bunch of players actually play as a team what can happen. And it was like a dream start to IPL. Means I still remember the way they celebrated when they won the trophy. And although KKR did not have a great season, the team that we support and like, so still we somehow enjoyed that how they celebrated, how Shane Warne celebrated, and how Shane Warne contributed to Indian cricket by grooming too many young players.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's the contribution he had. So they were really a dangerous collective. They had the young exuberance in their side, and that somehow I think then came to Deccan Chargers also in the next season, and that's what again
Yeah.
an interesting story, and we will talk about that how Gilchrist Gilchrist and other senior players, they guided the young players and they won the next edition. So let's move to the next year, 2009. What happened? Deccan Chargers emerged as a very strong team, and we could sense that from the initial matches, right? So let's discuss about their team and how their journey in that particular season.
They had a very pathetic campaign last the first season, and they were the
Yeah.
bottomers. I think they were the last in the table, and in the next season they
Hmm.
ended up winning the title. If
Hmm.
you look at the team, the team had undergone some changes. VVS Lakshman missed out on the captaincy, so he was not the captain anymore. Adam Gilchrist was the new captain, and like the Australian mentality. If we should not forget that peak Australian side that we always talk about in that era, in the entire 90s and 2000s
Hmm.
era. So our first two IPL winning captains both were Aussies. So
Hmm.
yeah, so it was started by Shane Warne, and Adam Gilchrist followed the same path. So and we saw some terrific contribution from players like Gilchrist, Simons, as well as that season there were some brilliant contribution from RP Singh, Indian talents like RP Singh, Pragyan Ojha. So if you look at the entire season, RP Singh was the purple cap winner. I think that season, if I'm not very wrong.
Yeah, so he finished that season with 23 wickets. So
Yes,
he
yes,
was
yes.
the
He
purple
was the
cap
purple
on.
cap winner.
Yeah.
So both, so we can figure out. So there is a saying that bowlers win you tournaments. So in the both the seasons, the orange cap holders, though T20 is a batsman game. So, but
Hmm.
at the same time, if you see the first two seasons, you will find this one common factor that in both the seasons, the purple cap winners were from the winning sides. So more than the
Hmm.
batsman, it was the bowler's contribution. Yeah.
When this tournament started with McCullum's innings, then and most of the fans, they thought that IPL is that entertainment kind of a cricket tournament where batters will hit sixes and
Yes.
fours and they will enjoy that. But later with RR and Deccan Chargers, they realize that it's the bowlers who are winning them tournaments, and
Bowlers
then
and how
the
you use
focus
the bowlers. More than
use the
bowlers,
bowlers, the
absolutely.
leadership quality is the think tank and the management team, obviously. So that's when the focus shifted from the star batters and explosive batters to the bowlers, and RP Singh and the other bowlers actually created a lot of difference. So
Absolutely.
that's what differentiates entertainers from contenders. So that's the difference, right? So you can have a very entertaining team, but that will not win you
Win you
the
tournaments.
the tournament. Yeah, so the bowlers will. So that's what that particular campaign from Deccan Chargers and the previous year RR campaign that was highlighted, that were highlighted by both these teams. So that was one takeaway from the campaigns from RR and Deccan
Deccan
Chargers,
Chargers.
because they both these teams did not have a very expensive and explosive kind of a batting lineup, but they had a good bowling lineup and good leadership qualities.
Mm,
because they have, both these teams have, I think, two three senior players who actually took care of the team, guided the team, and took them over the line.
mm,
uh, yeah, so I think the first two seasons were about surprise and possibilities, but from there started the era of CSK, right?
yeah.
Uh, from 2010-11, the IPL was only about CSK.
Mm,
Means I still remember how frustrated I used to feel. Obviously, not because CSK is winning, but because the way other teams were almost helpless in front of CSK,
mm,
because they had that system, they had that structure. So we were talking about the importance of bowlers and importance of, say, leadership qualities. CSK showed how a system, a process, and a structure can actually nurture a team, and can prepare and build a champion team. So let's talk about 2010 and 11 together. How
mm,
CSK dominated these 2 years,
mm.
and their team. Anything that stand out from their 2010 and 11 campaigns?
So, in the first, the cycle of contract that lasted from 8 to 10, CSK in all the 3 years performed really well. So in eight, they were the runner-ups. In nine, yeah, they reached the playoffs, and in 10, they become
Hmm.
the champions. So if you look at, MS Dhoni was already a World Cup winning captain. So everyone knows
Hmm.
that he has that tactical brilliance. He is someone, and he is taking the team to, very, very good heights, though he could not win a title till 2010. Now, what was the speciality of this two victories? And even I will be coming to the 11 side also, because once
Hmm.
Matthew Hedden was gone, he
Hmm.
trusted on Murli Vijay. And if you look
Hmm.
at that time, Murali Vijay, all of a sudden, a player who was
Hmm.
known to have a proper brilliance in test batting, all of a sudden he became a
Hmm.
T20 batter, and a very dangerous T20 batter. He had hit back-to-back
Yeah.
200s. So, if you look at the kind of bowling lineup that MS Dhoni was having with him, so a lot of
Hmm.
bowlers who were already performing, like Balaji, Anthony was a very important aspect
Right.
in South Africa's bowling at that point of time. And later on, joined CSK. But even before Jadeja, there was a bowler who is not well remembered, but the way Dhoni, so
Hmm.
Dhoni can use even a mediocre bowler to such extent that you know that
Hmm.
the talent that we have seen so many times, and
Hmm.
that person was Shadab Jakati. So this one
Right. Right.
bowler, like the ones who have seen those matches at that point of time, Shadab Jakati was one such bowler who would pick at least 2 wickets every game. So the way
Hmm.
he had
Hmm.
been used, this one bowler, and I think brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Later on in
Hmm.
2011, they got another experienced Australian bowler in them, that is Dob Bollinger, and
Hmm.
that one addition also was also extremely uh, dangerous for other
Hmm.
opponents. And if you look at
Hmm.
another person, then I think the way Suresh Raina, you know, uh,
Hmm.
came up, and the way Suresh Raina
Yeah.
was, the way he had been used in that entire scenario. I think CSK made
Hmm.
Suresh Raina. See, Suresh Raina
Yeah.
is the product of CSK. And
Yeah.
even in the 2011 World Cup, also the One Day World Cup I'm talking about, we saw how
Hmm.
properly Suresh Raina had been developed in the CSK dressing room. The way he
Hmm.
contributed in crucial matches for India, I think brilliant, absolutely brilliant from MS Dhoni. And we can keep on talking about the way the culture
Hmm.
that MS Dhoni had brought, that calmness, that coolness,
Hmm.
the guidance that he used to give to every young bowlers behind the stumps, which he still does. And And
Hmm.
I think that's the major contribution, even why CSK is cannot think beyond Dhoni even today also.
Hmm.
So I don't
Hmm.
know. Once Dhoni will be gone, it will be very
Hmm.
difficult for CSK to, continue
Hmm.
the excellence. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think one very important factor behind CSK's success was they were a very matured bunch of players in the sense that they used to come back from matches where they were almost gone.
Mm,
Think about their 2010 season,
mm.
they were almost gone. So they were almost on the verge of elimination.
Yes,
Then they came
yes,
back
yes.
to the season, won six out of their last eight matches,
They lost
and that
in the first
somehow
in the first 7 matches. They lost five. So
five.
another
Yeah,
loss, and they would have been out. I think that was the scenario. And from that,
yeah.
they made a
So
comeback.
right, and that showed that how mentally strong they were as a team, and they somehow among all the teams they were least emotional in that sense. Means the moment you allow emotions and fears and feelings to come into your processes, that can cloud a lot of your judgments. Okay,
Mm,
and that did not happen too much with CSK team because I think that's the kind of culture that Dhoni and Fleming and other uh, top management that
mm,
they brought into that CSK
mm,
culture,
mm, mm.
and that somehow helped them to utilize their resources better, as you mentioned. So that's the USP of Dhoni also. That's the USP of CSK also. That
Yes,
they
yes,
they actually utilize their resources best, and if they can do that in this edition also, they can do really well because
yes,
that's
yes.
the culture they have. Yeah. So I think that was the reason why they dominated in these 2 years, and they somehow emerged as again another template that many other teams tried to replicate and follow, and we saw the glimpses of such culture in other teams also later. But you mentioned about Murli Vijay, Michael Hussey, and
Yes,
these two batters.
yes, yes.
They actually created a lot of difference.
Mm.
Also, Ravichandran Ashwin, I think
Yes.
he was brilliant for them in those years, and the role of spin, the spinning track, and everything contributed
Mm,
to Chennai's dominance, and that's again another template that many other teams tried to replicate, playing too many spinners, having spinning track, and but it was a complete franchisee in terms of the management that they had, the selection of players, the utilization of players, having a particular method, system, culture, everything was on point, I think.
mm,
And that was in a way, if you actually think about IPL as a tournament, that method, that structure, that process will always come to your mind whenever you think about IPL as a tournament. And
absolutely.
I kudos to CSK. Somehow I think CSK as a team, they have brought in a lot of seriousness into this tournament.
Mm,
Otherwise, people used to take IPL very lightly,
very lightly.
but somehow that the gravity that that particular team had, their management had, and you will see that their top management and all their management personnel almost look like a very old family business.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
so so they have that balanced culture, balanced approach, the way they conduct themselves, that's really something to see and learn from. And I think they were and they still are a team to watch out for and learn from.
So
I
if you
think they
even
are
if today also,
really
when you look at the IPL auction, if you look at the CSK table, you will find
mm,
five grumpy uncles, and with
yeah,
proper corporate attire, they are just sitting and
right,
they
right,
are bidding. They are without any emotion on their faces. It
yeah.
just feels like I'm watching five Narayana Murtis. Yeah, so that's
Mm,
the essence of CSK. That is, yeah, CSK is a, which is very, now I think we are going to Mumbai Indians because the next season was won by Mumbai
mm,
Indians, and Rohit Sharma won his first right last time. I think the culture
yeah.
that was brought by Mumbai Indians, that was exactly the opposite.
Mm,
Mumbai Indians was all about, the emotional culture, the from a lot of youngsters are coming from the scouting background.
mm,
Rohit
mm,
Sharma, more than the captain, he is becoming the Rohit Bhaiya or Rohit Bhau. So yeah, that was the.
mm,
So yeah, how do you find
mm.
the Mumbai Indians uprising?
So I think 12, and let's think about this particular phase from 12 to 15. I think this is about leadership qualities and skills. So, and two names you have to mention. One is Gambhir,
And
the other is
Rohit
Rohit
Sharma.
Sharma, right? So because 12 KKR won the tournament, and that was a massive thing for KKR because KKR
Yes.
was really struggling,
Yes.
and Mumbai Indians had a very young captain in Rohit Sharma. I think Ponting handed over the captaincy to Rohit Sharma. And both these teams under two new captains, they really performed well because of the leadership qualities and the tactical brilliance that these two individuals had. So KKR had their first title, and when you think about that season and the final match, you remember a lot of performances, but I still remember
Bisla,
Bisla's 89.
Bisla, M. Bisla,
Yeah,
Manvinder
yeah,
Bisla.
yeah. Manvinder Bisla. And
Oh,
now he is in our
yeah.
KKR scouting team and
Yes.
coaching. He is one of the coaching staff members. So that 89, that was one of the most significant
Brilliant, brilliant,
knocks
brilliant.
in IPL final history. So KKR season, I think, was about resilience. They were finished last season, I think, just a point uh, um, behind the means for 1 point or something they got eliminated, and it
No, so
was
the first season Gambhir, played in KKR as captain was in 2011. They finished.
11
They finished in the eliminator, so they went to the playoffs.
uh,
Uh,
went
they
to the playoffs. Yes,
they
yes.
got
Huh.
out in. They got defeated in the eliminator, and in the next season
Hmm.
they went on to bring the title. Also,
In
a lot of changes
in
also
12
happened.
they yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I still
So I
remember.
think to
So I still remember like
actually I was
I still remember
yeah.
the
Please continue.
players like Yusuf Pathan, Shakib Al Hassan,
Hmm.
players with
Hmm.
smaller contributions, they came up. So
Hmm.
these players started getting more relevance in the team. And there Gambhir
Hmm.
started to imbibe a culture. I still remember he got
Hmm.
a man of the match in one match. I'm forgetting the opposition, but he in the presentation he dedicated and gave away the man of the match award to a young chap called Devabrata Das for his
Right, right.
four ball 11 innings. So that's the
Hmm. Hmm.
and we know that Gambhir is a very aggressive and a very passionate captain. So
Hmm.
that was the first time we saw something like that, and
Hmm.
the definition of leadership almost changed that match. So all of a sudden it struck my mind,
Hmm.
so that's why I just came up with the point.
Yeah, yeah. And I think under Gambhir's leadership, what changed was also the identity that KKR had.
Yes,
So
yes.
before him, KKR often felt very dramatic,
Mm,
and it was almost like Shah Rukh Khan is the owner of the team. So it was almost like a Bollywood like team, and it was like that glamour and everything. We were
stars,
always talking about
all
the
the stars coming to watch the
stars,
match,
and the brand value that
and the
KKR had, all that brand value. So we used to say, although we are not table toppers, but we are table toppers in terms of the brand value that we have.
yes, absolutely.
But when Gambhir came, it became less dramatic, became more serious, disciplined,
Mm,
and almost CSK like. So
yes,
so you talked about how Gambhir used the resources so well, and still Gambhir does. And we criticize him for some of his tactical decisions and selection decisions in his coaching stint, but when he was in KKR also, he used to have that quality of utilizing resources really well, like Dhoni.
Absolutely.
So he also had that quality as a captain, and he was really a good leader. It is good that you shared that example or anecdote of actually giving off the award and giving it to somebody else. That takes a lot of heart, and that was a very significant gesture that
Mm.
can bring together a team. And as a leader, he promised a lot of things to the fans, that I will try to bring in significant changes and make this an impactful team. So that successful campaign that KKR had, and later many more campaigns that we had, that was the starting point, I think.
Mm.
Let's move to Mumbai Indians. Mumbai Indians own in 2013, and they were really an aggressive team, and Karen Pollard's finishing power, their bowling unit could defend moderate totals because of Malinga and
Right.
others. They somehow came and emerged as the main opposition for CSK, and in a batting driven league, they came up with a great bunch of bowlers, and who could actually bowl under pressure.
Mm.
What did you like about Mumbai Indians at that point of time, and why do you think Mumbai Indians started to emerge as the most complete and impactful team in this tournament?
Yeah. So if we look at the 2013, correct me if I'm wrong. So it was not started
Hmm.
with Rohit Sharma's captaincy. Rohit Sharma was given the captaincy
Yeah, yeah.
mid-season.
In between, yeah.
Mid-season. So Ricky Ponting was the captain. Ricky Ponting was the captain initially. He was not being able to deliver, and mid-season the captaincy was given
Hmm.
away to Rohit Sharma. And that's one of the greatest captain story that one can have, that someone getting the
Hmm.
responsibility of captain in the mid season and finally letting the results out. So yeah, definitely a bunch of young talents. Ambati Raidu is one such talent
Hmm.
who started to show his prowess in the last couple of seasons, but now he become an even more matured campaigner. And players like Malinga, I think, who become a
Hmm.
legend after that. And I think there were another a bunch of youngsters, so who also came up to show
Hmm.
what they are capable of. And where actually I think
Pandya
Pandya
brothers.
brothers I think came later in the later. Now
Hmm.
2013 was the season. I think Jasprit Bumrah was the came for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, so another youngster definitely who set his foot in the Mumbai Indians side. So
Hmm.
overall, if I look at the way Mumbai Indians came up, it looked a very passionate team. I still remember
Hmm.
the way they defeated CSK in the final. So that was a statement that uh,
Hmm.
Rohit Sharma, a young chap, like coming of age captain, and defeating a
Hmm.
legend like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and not letting
Hmm.
him win the title for another year back to back, is making CSK the runners up. I think that was a statement. That
Hmm.
was a big statement that
Hmm.
came from Mumbai Indians.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I
Also, kick.
yeah. So
Yeah, yeah. Please go on.
so my point was that the uh, uh, Dhoni's calmness, and that was having a counter approach as captain, where Rohit Sharma came up with a controlled aggression and yet a very emotional
Hmm.
bonding with the teammates. which was
mm,
again, where in the entire, if you look at the next year's campaign, where KKR also again won their second
mm,
title. So Gambhir again, continuing the success of KKR, where Gambhir also showed that, a different approach as captain, where there is a calmness and there is a lot of passion inside the game. That is
mm.
coming up as the, a recipe for success for so far as the captains are concerned. Yeah.
Mm. And another significant innings in the final from Manish Pandey, 94. He scored
2014,
94, I think, 2014 against
2000
Kings 11 Punjab.
Kings 11 Punjab. Mm.
Punjab. I think 94 or some score around that.
90,
So he played a match winning innings in that final, but it was again about Gambhir's leadership and about Sunil Narayan's mystery
yes,
and control,
yes.
and
That
it
was
it
Sunil
was
Narayan's
a
debut.
side
That was Sunil Narayan's debut
debut.
season. Uh,
Yeah, and it was a KKR side that somehow started to handle pressure better, and we chased and won few matches, and that's what
mm,
was a very important factor in that campaign.
mm,
And again, I think it was almost so what Gambhir showed in say 12, he showed it again that that was not a fluke.
mm,
We actually have a great team and a great bunch of players, and we have groomed them, and we have a set strategies and set processes and methods, and we you play according to the situation, and we can play differently against different oppositions and can win this tournament again and again. After 2014, I think KKR uh, was that team uh, that was considered among the champion teams, and people started taking KKR seriously, that
mm.
this is one of the champion teams, and they can do it again, what they did in say 12 and 14. So we started to take the name of KKR among the champions, like CSK, Mumbai Indians, and KKR, the trio. So
Robin
let's talk
Uthappa,
about Mumbai.
Uthappa had a brilliant
Yeah,
season. I think he was the
right, right,
highest
right.
highest run getter that season, and
Hmm,
almost everyone forgot about what a brilliant batsman he was. So I think Robin Uthappa is
hmm,
such a, sad story in Indian cricket. So he could have
hmm.
been, his style. I loved his style. The way he used to,
He used to.
come up for to the pacers, and the way he used to walk down and
Hmm,
he used to take them down. He had a brilliant player of spin. I think that was
hmm,
for Robin Uthappa and Manish Pandey. That was a very memorable season, and of course, so
hmm.
Sunil Narayan. I think that is one season. Why that season is a very special thing for KKR also. That season actually
Yeah, yeah.
created the mentality of KKR that we will choke the opposition through spin.
Hmm, hmm,
That's the reason why they brought in Piyush Chawla, Kuldeep Yadav later on, and
hmm,
with they created a spin trio: Narayan, Kuldeep, and
hmm,
Chawla later on. And
hmm,
even today, if we look at the spin combination of Narayan and Varun Chakravarti, there was a
hmm,
part-time spinner in Shakib Al Hasan also
hmm,
a few times. So I think the spin mentality of KKR, where KKR came up with the spin strategy, also that
hmm.
time when it started.
Hmm. Now, 2015 highlighted the bounce back ability of Mumbai Indians, and
Okay.
as a team, it started to come back to the tournament after a very slow start. So
Yeah.
they started uh, really slowly, and they lost their first four matches. Had only one win in the first six
Mm,
matches,
mm, mm,
and still came back to win the whole tournament. That's not luck. that was squad depth, belief, and dressing room calmness and leadership calmness. So
Absolutely.
from there on, Mumbai showed that again and again that they generally start slowly and then they come back to tournaments and win the tournaments. So let's talk about their campaign that year, because that was a very significant year for them, because obviously they had won IPL before also, but I think 2015 was a significant year for Mumbai Indians, and their journey as the most powerful team started from there, and they're still, I think, in 2026 also they are one of the most powerful teams. And if they, what we have on paper, if they can execute even 70 60 70% of that, that would be very damaging for other teams. That's what I think. Yeah, so let's talk about their campaign that year, and then we will move to another era, that is 16 to 20, and we will talk about what happened in that particular phase.
Yeah, so 15, I think, that created, if I just making it in a nutshell, it was the era when Mumbai Indians was identified as, brilliant scouters for of new
Mm,
talents. So they had Bumrah,
mm,
they already had and you like if we look at what Mumbai Indians is today,
mm,
2015 was a very prominent year. I think that year they
mm,
got some excellent talents. They took Surya Kumar Yadav in that season.
mm,
They from KKR. Surya Kumar Yadav was previously he was in KKR, and 2015 I think was the year when Surya Kumar Yadav became part of Mumbai Indians, and also they got the Pandya. So the younger Pandya came first. The elder Pandya joined the
mm,
team later, but definitely so far as talent picking is concerned, they showed that they are definitely one of those sides who are now thinking about long term. And if we look at
mm,
what they have achieved and
mm,
uh, their slow start and later on they build themselves. Even today also they are continuing the same thing. Even today also we cannot predict where Mumbai Indians will end up just by looking at the start
mm.
that they are having. So that's the
Right,
mentality.
right.
That's the kind of approach they have
Mm,
made about themselves, and
mm.
as the message they have conveyed about themselves. Yeah.
So, along with finding great young talents, what another trend started to happen from next year? That is, IPL obviously had evolved a lot, and you talked about scouting. You talked about, we actually talked about great management team, a great bunch of coaching staff, great leadership skills. But another thing started to happen, that is a great bunch of and smart bunch of analysts came into the picture,
Definitely.
and they started
Definitely.
to
Definitely.
analyze matchups. They started to analyze pitches, conditions, which kind of team composition will do better, which players should be used for which purposes. All that started to become clearer because of these great bunch of analysts, and again some basic aspects got highlighted, that great bowling win leagues,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
these kinds of batters are needed, these kinds of anchors are needed for a tournament like IPL. And let's take Sunrisers Hyderabad case in point. They actually had a very clear strategy, and obviously with the leadership of David
David Warner.
Warner, his talent of finding out uh, good team composition. They actually had the bowling grit, and their first bowlers, and this is a very interesting stat, their first bowlers took 82 wickets, joint second most for a team in a single IPL season. So
Bhuvaneshwar
so
Kumar and
that's
Mustafizur Rahman. I think these two
Mustafa
these
Rahman.
these two bowlers they had a terrific campaign. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. And other teams are generally dominated by stroke play. SRH showed that a disciplined bowling side can beat any team, any batting superpower. And that's what they did. And obviously We also have to talk about David Warner's contribution, his leadership skill. He also, I think, is a man manager. Means he used to guide a lot of young players, and
Definitely.
he was loved by a lot of young players. So let's talk about SRH's campaign in 2016, and then we will move to the next few years of
Yeah, a
IPL.
lot of things you have covered. What I still remember is, SRH showed a different approach of, playing with fast bowlers. So
Hmm.
the importance of fast bowlers and, the way they started to think about, emphasizing on bowling, that was started in 2016. Later on, they brought talents like Rashid in the spin department. They,
Hmm.
scouted for a brilliant talent like Siddharth Kaul as a fast
Hmm.
bowler in the later period. I think the impact of that,
Hmm.
the campaign that Mustafizur Rahman and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar had for SRH, I think that created a
Hmm.
new strategy for them. So
Hmm.
that's the kind of mentality that they continued afterwards. They were so that
Hmm.
even they become successful also. 2018 campaign they become the runners up, though they could not win another title
Hmm.
in the upcoming seasons. But the way
Hmm.
they scouted for really proper bowling talents, that was I think started in 2016.
And that season established Bhuvaneshwar Kumar as the premium 20 bowler,
Definitely,
and the
definitely,
way he used to defend those scores, I think he almost had the stature of Bumrah in that particular season
definitely,
for SRH.
definitely, definitely.
So and that's why RCB picked Bhuvaneshwar Kumar even at the end stage of his career.
Hmm.
They picked him because they know how good a bowler Bhuvneshwar Kumar is, especially in a crunch situation when suppose you have to defend 10 runs, 12 runs in the final over. Bhuvneshwar Kumar perhaps is the best bet in that particular situation. Really interesting campaign, really interesting season. SRH actually dominated the season through a lot of good performances, and a season to remember for SRH's grittiest performances ever, I think, in all their campaigns that they had till now. Now let's talk about Mumbai Indians again, because they again their comeback ability and bounce back ability was in show in 2017. Uh, just to highlight how good they were, they defended just 129 in the final,
Yeah,
and I think
fantastic.
they beat rising Pune Super
Rising
Giants
Phoenix
by
Giants,
1 run. I
one run.
think, yeah, and the way they handled their nerves and they handled the crunch situation. Uh, they simply refused to lose any of their close games, and that's why they became the champion. And that's what I think championship mentality looks like. And many teams wanted to have that in that particular period of time, but Mumbai had that, and they were a brilliant team in that particular season.
Yeah, so I think by then Mumbai, the young
Hmm.
talents that were brought by the Mumbai,
Yeah.
I think they were, in that stage where they have got the international exposure as well. Bumrah, Hardik
Hmm.
Pandya, everyone had their, international debuts done and everything. So they were even exposed. And that campaign, I think by then Krunal Pandya was also a part of the Mumbai
Hmm.
Indians.
Hmm.
By then Mumbai Indians was pretty much the team that we see Mumbai Indians as today. A
Hmm.
proper, properly made, very, very professional Mumbai Indians side was already made in that season. So there is same reason
Hmm.
why even today also, when we look at the Mumbai Indians squad, it feels like where do we find any stopgap? So I think they
Hmm.
almost peak every point.
Hmm. And I think in the absence of CSK, they emerged as the team, the most impactful team, because we obviously missed CSK in 16 and
16
17.
and 17.
They came back, and how in 2018 they returned from suspension and won the title in 2018. Show me another story that is of the same level, that one team is getting back from a suspension and then winning a tournament. So let's talk about their campaign that year. That was again a very interesting season and a lot of great performances from CSK.
That actually created a that was a landmark season for all the reason. A lot of mm, you know people, they started giving CSK the name of old men. So who were
Hmm.
the players in that season? Like Shane Watson, Faf du Plessis,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
Dhoni was already there. Uh, Ambati Rayudu, Ravindra Jadeja, all were experienced in their 30s.
Hmm.
So I think all the players who won that trophy, where almost everyone was in their 30s, and that was the only
Hmm.
team to have uh, all the aged players, and still they end up
Hmm.
winning the trophy. And even like even before the last season, CSK had been knowing they have been known as the team with only senior players. So this is the first
Hmm.
time they are coming with an absolutely new junior team.
Hmm.
So that this is CSK another identity.
Hmm. It's almost like that Pakistani guy, Jaspat badal diya, sab
Exactly,
kuch
exactly,
badal diya.
exactly.
That kind that kind of a meme you can have for
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
CSK. But that season, I think we were talking about old players and a bit aged players. But think about old Shane Watson's unbeaten 170. I think that remains one of the top scores in IPL final by an individual batter. Obviously, he played a match-winning innings. I still remember uh, how he celebrated after hitting that. I think he hit the winning run, as far as I can
Yes, it
remember.
is. It is.
And he that was something. That was really, dad's army is winning
That's
the
on me. Yes,
tournament after, yeah, from up after 2 years of suspension. If you can regroup and win the matches, not only the matches, the tournament again, that shows the kind of very structured processes, methods, and culture CSK have as a team, as a unit. And that is a case study for business schools also, how culture is important for an organization. You can be out of market for 2 years, but when you again re-enter the market, you are again the market leader. So that's a story to
absolutely.
tell to our students also, that how culture is important, methods, processes, discipline is important.
Definitely, definitely. So I think, yeah, so 2018 was that Shane Watson innings that you were talking about, and even Faf du Plessis, he was also one of the brilliant players that season. I think that
Hmm.
opening combination, and I think was a very, very deadly
Hmm.
trio of Watson, du Plessis, and Raidu. And I think
Hmm.
they created brilliant results for CSK. Yeah,
And I think that CSK win is a great reminder that experience in T20 cricket is underrated.
absolutely,
People often
absolutely.
talk only about, say, youth, power, and innovation, but pressure is handling pressure is also a skill. Reading situation is also a skill, and CSK, I think, keep monetizing that skill, and
Mm.
that's a very important reminder for other teams who think that just by having explosive players and having innovation you can win tournaments, you can win few matches,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
to
But
win a
winning tournaments, yes,
tournament you need a mix of everything, and
absolutely.
CSK had that in that particular season and in many other seasons that they won. Let's talk about Mumbai now. So Mumbai won in 2019, beating CSK by 1 run in the final. Again, the comeback ability and bounce back ability from a very formidable team consists of Bumrah, Malinga, Chahar. The bowling lineup was great, and they defended many moderate totals in that particular season. So let's talk about this season, and actually we can talk about 19 and
Went it
20
together, actually. Yeah.
together. Yeah. So
So,
how they dominated these two seasons.
1920, just for that kind of
তো তোমার সাউন্ডটা আবার কেটে যাচ্ছে, সাউন্ডটা কেটে যাচ্ছে। না এখনো কেটে কেটে আসছে একটু। আমি জানি না আমি কেটে কেটে শুনতে পাচ্ছি না, মানে সাউন্ডের কিছু ইয়ে আছে।
এবার ঠিক আছে?
এবার ঠিক আছে, এবার ঠিক আছে, এবার ঠিক আছে।
এবার ঠিক
হুম।
আছে?
আবার আবার হ্যাঁ, এবার ঠিক আছে। এবার আবার ওখান থেকে বলো যেখান থেকে বলছিল।
Yeah, 19 and 20, if you look at both the seasons, not only the bowling, bowling excellence from Bumrah and Malinga, I would rather say there was another point that was brought by the top-order fireworks. Uh, we had
হুম,
we had Quinton de Kock, we had Rohit Sharma,
হুম,
and later we
হুম,
found Ishan Kishan. I think Ishan
হুম,
Kishan, that one campaign where I think he hit the maximum sixes with
yeah,
a 500 plus runs.
yeah,
What a talent! I think, and
হুম,
along with Surya Kumar Yadav, along with
হুম,
Pandyas, along with
হুম,
Bumrah, and I think that was one time when Mumbai Indians was looking, invincible. So that is
হুম,
that era of excellence and all the stuffs. I think
হুম,
that was the 19 and 20 where those seasons were almost like people started having nightmarish thoughts when they had to face Mumbai
হুম,
Indians. So yeah.
হুম, হুম। Yeah, so let's move to another champion team, and 21 CSK won again, and it was almost like a boring kind of a process that CSK was adopting again and again, and they somehow winning the tournaments, and I think they beat KKR in the final by some runs, 27 runs I think. Fab
That
Duplessis played
campaign
a brilliant.
that year, KKR had a more interesting
Hmm.
campaign than
Yeah.
so.
But CSK had the habit of winning tournaments, and
Yes,
that's
yes, yes, yes.
we used to say luck, but they somehow had that habit. And obviously you are quite right that KKR had a brilliant and really interesting, I will say more interesting season than
Yes, yes.
brilliant. So they had.
So basically, if you look at that season, so 2021 the
Hmm,
tournament was split. So one was
yeah.
there was a mini lockdown just
Hmm,
in between, and later on
hmm,
the venues got shifted to Dubai, and the season got
hmm,
ended in Dubai. They
hmm.
had a very reverse season altogether.
Yeah.
So the first part, KKR was doing nothing, and later on the
Yeah.
captaincy was given to Ian Morgan, and in the
Yeah, more,
next part,
hmm,
KKR started winning, and we started, we found a brilliant talent in Venkatesh Iyer, on whom we have spent
hmm,
23.75 crores later. But But Venkatesh Iyer was a big revelation that season.
Yeah, yeah,
Shubman Gill came up with a very big thing.
yeah.
So
Mm,
everyone started chipping in the later part. And Rahul Tripathi is another
mm,
name that we should not miss.
mm,
He's even today also he has come back in KKR.
mm,
So 21 was
mm.
one such season which will be more remembered for the KK.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are
Even
right.
after winning the trophy, Dhoni said that
Dhoni said
yes,
they were more deserving
they were more deserving to win this title. So
when they said.
so
Mm,
if you look at the CSK campaign also, again the same
mm,
they were very much applying the same formula. Faf du Plessis
mm,
was
mm,
a brilliant player in that tournament. Jadeja had a brilliant
mm.
tournament. So they had and new players like Ngidi and they started chipping in that in those things.
Right. So if you look at the next season, 22, it was about the combination of Nehra and Hardik Pandya
Yes.
and the team Gujarat Titans and they played really well. They surprised a lot of other teams and obviously key stakeholders related to cricket. A lot of the journalists were writing about team Gujarat and how they were playing great cricket and they actually used their resources quite well. Hardik Pandya and Nehra and their tactical brilliance were in show and Hardik Pandya had a great tournament. I think very impactful all round display he had. But more than that, his captaincy skills were in show. I
Yes.
really like the way he
Yes.
managed the team
Yes.
as a new captain and young captain and the decisions that he and Nara together
Mm.
took. They did really well in all the departments and there were clarity. They were almost like the Rajasthan team in
Yes. Yes.
2008.
I
Uh,
was about to tell.
uh,
Yes. Yes. I was about to tell.
yeah, yeah. So let's talk about their campaign because I think that was a very significant year for that team. Their first year, I think, and they somehow performed really well in that year.
A very typically brilliant campaign because if you look at the
Hmm.
names, they were not big names. So they
Hmm.
did some very brilliant experiments like promoting Hardik Pandya up the order at number four,
Hmm.
playing players like Mudgun Saha in the opening, where he almost in every match
Hmm.
starts with the bat. Later on, they had Rashid, the time, so definitely a bowler who always scores for them. It's Rahul Tewatia, such a brilliant underrated finisher.
Hmm.
David Miller, again another player who created wonders that people had absolutely forgotten what David Miller could do because a few not so wicket captains in Dr. Hill's words. But all of a sudden, was
Hmm.
taken and when he was given the right quality, we could see that all brilliant containment regular quality. If players are Sudarshan, Sai Kishore, these players were also coming up
Hmm.
to be, as the new talents of Gujarat Titans. So definitely,
Hmm.
it was a marvelous season, and also let's not forget Rajasthan's campaign because Rajasthan was the runners-up that
Hmm.
season, and
Hmm. Hmm.
we saw that Rajasthan came up with a very unique aspect of having five gun bowlers and Ashwin
Hmm.
Chahal bowled Sandeep Sharma, and I think another one I am missing out another name. So with five gun bowlers, they were playing one batsman short, but what a
Hmm.
campaign even Rajasthan also had. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So next year again. CSK, Ravindra Jadeja stole stole the match from
Gujarat Titans again.
Gujarat Titans.
Yes.
Yeah, so just imagine what a story it could have been if they Gujarat Titans would have won the tournament. Hardik Pandya as a captain, winning two
Back to back.
seasons back to back. That would have been a great story. But again, the story was about Ravindra Jadeja and how he sealed the match for CSK on the last ball. And I think even before the final, the signs were there. They were really playing great cricket. Gaikwad and Conway was giving CSK strong opening axis, and then their bowling mix with Pathirana and Tikshana, it was a complete team, I think, in that season, and
I think
all their guns were firing in that particular season, in a way,
20,
and that helped them in winning that tournament somehow. Yeah.
23 season will be very special for another aspect. So
Hmm.
we all again saw what Dhoni is capable of behind the stumps.
Hmm.
Look at the
Hmm.
bowlers that he used. Pathirana,
Hmm.
Tikshana, Tushar Deshpande.
Hmm.
Tushar Deshpande
Hmm.
was a star bowler that entire tournament. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
if I'm not wrong, he again won the purple cap that season,
Hmm.
or maybe he was the
Yeah.
second highest wicket taker. So he was among the
Hmm.
highest wicket takers that season. So
Hmm.
Tushar Deshpande, this one guy who we knew that he's one such bowler who would always go for runs and everything. He
Yeah.
would be a weak link to any other bowling lineup. But look at what he created of Tushar Deshpande. And even before that, we saw he
Hmm.
created a brilliant talent in Deepak Chahar. So the way
Hmm.
Dhoni has used his bowlers this one season was another another
Hmm.
souvenir of those memories that
Hmm.
Dhoni has given to us. That the myths that he's there with Dhoni,
Yeah. Yeah.
why that myth has been created around Dhoni and Thala for a reason.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
this one season was a perfect example of that.
Yeah. 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 All right. So then KKR again in 24, and they
Brilliant.
topped the league phase and beat SRH in qualifier 1, and they crushed them again in the final by 8 wickets after bowling them out for
100
113, I
or
think,
30.
and uh, to 13 or 10 or 13, something like that. So I think that was sheer domination that KKR had in that season, and many of the senior players and significant players, they played major roles. Example, Sunil Narayan again, Russell played a couple of match winning innings, and ha- with the ball also. I think he bowled
Yes, 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 yes.
really well in that season. Stark kept his best for the most important matches and showed why KKR kept him in the team and paid so much money. I think KKR's bowling group, although in the initial matches could not do that well because Stark was not actually helping the cause and was not bowling that well. Stark went for a lot of runs initial matches. I remember you and I had conversations why KKR is keeping him in the team. Although in the back of our minds, we knew that sometimes Stark will do well, but somehow as fans, you also become a bit reactive and emotional at times. So we were having those conversations, but the way Stark changed everything for KKR in the most important matches, I think that was one of the important stories. But let's talk about their campaign in 24.
Yeah, both KKR and SRH,
Hmm.
they gave the world a new way of playing the game. I
Hmm.
think in I think one another name that should be named, that should be taken in which actually dictated KKR's success was Phil Salt.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Salt and Narain, that combination, and Abhishek Sharma and
Mm,
Travis said that combination, these two
mm,
combinations, you
mm,
know, the world
mm,
saw that what these two combinations can do.
mm,
And I think Phil Salt and Sunil Narain, the way these opening duo worked for KKR, I think later on when Venkatesh Iyer, Shreyas Iyer, and players like Ankrish, new talents. Ankrish Raghuvanshi was was
mm,
another one fine two talent that KKR came up with. Matches become very easy, and if not the batting, then there were some matches where KKR came up with some brilliant bowling effort. Some in some matches, Stark played a very important role. In some matches, Vaibhav Arora came
mm.
up with early wickets. Harshit Rana, came up with brilliant death overs, and Narayan and Varun, this spinning duo,
Mm,
we could see what they are able to do. Yeah,
yeah. And then in 2000, 2025 gave us one of the most emotional IPL endings, and RCB
they
finally became champions. The official IPL report said that they kept their nerves in the final and beat Punjab Kings by 6 runs and ended an 18-year wait, right?
mm,
And uh, what was really interesting was the rise of RCB as a particular team with big names. So obviously they always had big names, but from big names to big impact.
mm,
The kind of impactful performances RCB had from, say, not so significant names. Obviously, I'm not saying Krunal Pandya is not one of the big names, but in terms of when you compare Kunal Pandya with say Avi de Villiers and Chris Gale and say Watson and Maxwell and Virat Kohli, then you will say that Kunal Pandya is our own all rounder, and the way Kunal Pandya performed in that particular season, as far as my understanding of that particular season and the impact of Kunal Pandya is concerned, Kunal Pandya won the tournament for
absolutely,
RCB, and and
absolutely.
and the impact of Kunal Pandya, we will realize that if Kunal Pandya fails or does not perform at that level in this
In this one,
particular edition or season, so then we will realize how impactful Kunal Pandya's performance was last season, both with bat and ball. So let's talk about their campaign and if any significant event happened in last IPL. We also have to talk about Punjab Kings, the
yeah,
way they
definitely,
played, and they
definitely.
were the captaincy and leadership of Shreyas Iyer, and many other things that happened last year.
Must say then that the way Rajat Patidar used the bowling lineup, I
Hmm.
think one name
Hmm.
that is missed in this entire RCB's success story is Rajat Patidar. Maybe because his name
Hmm.
is Rajat Patidar and is not so
Hmm. Hmm.
well known in
Hmm.
the Indian cricket circuit. Rajat Patidar, the
Hmm.
way he used, especially bowlers like Yash Dayal,
Yeah.
Krunal Pandya, and Suyash Sharma, these three bowlers, I will take,
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
three special names because these three special
Hmm.
names actually created the impact. Josh Hazelwood definitely
Hmm.
had a dream campaign with, and we all know that
Hmm.
Josh Hazelwood is a is a legendary fast bowler that RCB
Hmm.
had, and along with that, the
Hmm.
impact that was created by the RCB middle order, especially.
Hmm.
So a lot of impactful innings came through Team David, Jitesh Sharma,
Hmm.
Romario Shepherd. So
Hmm.
these few players actually created a lot of difference in the middle order of RCB, and also players like Phil Salt and Virat Kohli.
Hmm.
That opening combination was always there.
Yeah. So I think you are quite right that the kind of leadership skill Rajat Patidar showed and the kind of leadership skill again Shreyas Iyer showed, we must give it to them the way they handled their team and new role. Obviously, new role means for Shreyas Iyer, it was a new team, and for Rajat Patidar, it was a new role in a very high pressure kind of tournament. So yeah, so RCB finally won, and now they have become a very strong team. Also, we have to appreciate their think tank, the way they pick their players, and we also have to also have to highlight the contribution of KKR in helping them have in having a great auction,
Mm. Yeah,
because
yeah, absolutely.
RCB should at least give 30% of the contribution and 30% of credit to KKR for winning that tournament and still having a great team. Otherwise, if KKR would have given up a bit earlier in that particular auction battle for Venki, then we we would have 2 3 more players in our squad now, and but not to be. That's how things are, and that's why this auctions and this tournament is interesting, and we have interest in this tournament because of these battles and these decisions and these significant events. So let's
RCB
now
now,
pull all of.
RCB now has Venkatesh Iyer. I don't know whether they will make him play or not. So yeah.
Okay. Finally, they have, and it can very much happen that now Venky will play well, and then KKR will. That's what generally happens with KKR. The
Yeah,
moment we leave
ex-KKR
any
players, they
player,
play well.
he the players generally play well. So that even if that happens, that's fine. We want Venky
I
to
don't
play
know
well.
because I'm not finding a
They
place. I'm not finding a place where Venki can be placed. So I don't think they
they
will
will play they will play particle play
play.
particle over Venki. If particle say fails for 2 3 4 matches, then they might bring in Venki only
Because
because of his all round ability a bit. They can bring in Venki
Devdutt
for
Padikkal
that
is in good
reason,
form.
and he performed really well for them last year.
Last year,
So why?
yes. Let's
So
not. Yeah. Brilliant campaign.
Yeah. So yeah. So let's pull all of this together and let's find out some common threads that we discussed, common aspects that are impossible to ignore. And I will start with one aspect, that is strong leadership qualities and strong leadership identity that actually shape and build a team. So talk about Shane Warne, Gilchrist in the first 2 seasons, Dhoni, Gambhir, Rohit in between. Talk about, and Dhoni still is running the CSK team, although we have a different captain, but still, as long as Dhoni is there, he will be the leader of that team. We talked about Warner, Hardik Pandya, and how they handled a young team and new team and took that team to championship. So different personalities, but different styles, but all of them gave their teams a direction. They guided their team. They had given stability to their team, and those teams had clarity in that particular season, and they won those seasons. And so when now we look at any team, we look at who is the leader or which players are in the leadership team, and which is the leadership core of that team, and fate of a particular team in a high pressure tournament like IPL depends on their leadership core and especially on their captain. So I think that's the first common thread that I can at least notice or identify from our discussion. That's very
Yes.
important.
Along with that, a strong Indian core
Yeah, yeah.
to take 7 players from India and 4 overseas players.
Mm,
And
mm,
7 Indian players should be having proper role clarity from the team
mm,
management. So if we look at the Gujarat Titans success story in 2022, so
mm,
the level of role clarity that was there with all the players in that season, or
mm,
even RCB's campaign last season. So all the,
mm,
as I was mentioning, the way Patidar used the bowlers. So that's actually
mm,
this shows how strong management or how strong skipper's mindset can be. that you
mm,
know that what kind of resources your bowlers are having and where actually you need
mm,
to make them bowl in at what position, what would be their exact
mm,
role, whether they will be, bowling to save runs or they will be going for the kill to take the wickets. All these things are extremely important
mm,
in a long format
mm,
tournament. Along with that,
mm,
I think even the four overseas, when I'm allocating the four overseas players, I should be
mm,
knowing that what exactly I'm getting from the four overseas players, and I will just let the those bulls do whatever they can do. So say for example,
mm,
and say for example, if I'm looking at the level of brilliance that was brought by Quinton de Kock for Mumbai Indians, or Shane
mm,
Watson in the beginning for Chennai Super Kings, or
mm,
talk about Phil Salt in that successful campaign of KKR. Last year, Josh
mm,
Hazelwood, this kind of successful story that
mm,
he had for RCB. All the players were,
mm,
they had, proper, they were proper professionals. So
mm,
having proper professionals in your overseas players are very important. You cannot have utility players in your overseas
mm,
players. Let the
mm,
utility players remain there with the Indian core, and have the proper professionals in your proper experts in your
mm, mm,
in the overseas players. Even if you are playing Sunil
mm,
Narine as an all-rounder,
mm,
so the kind of campaign
mm,
that he had in 2024, there he had,
mm,
there he played like a proper expert when he was batting. He played like a proper expert when he was
mm,
bowling. So there also
mm,
he was not a utility player. So I think, yeah.
mm.
So that's one of another point that I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a very good point. I think that's why CSK is investing too much money, their resources, time, and effort into young Indian players,
Yes.
and they want to build that Indian core,
Mm,
and there they can have very impactful and powerful means foreign players
mm,
who can have specific roles.
mm.
So that's the exact direction that CSK is moving towards. Another thing I can think of is bowling strength under pressure, especially. So you can have a great set of bowlers, but if those bowlers are not able to handle pressure, if they are not good at death overs, then that's a problem. So think about how Deccan Chargers
Yes.
won that season because they had the wicket taking attack. Think about CSK's spin control. With their spin bowlers, they used to and still they're winning tournaments because of that. Think about SRH's bowling group that they had in 2016, and the bowling group Mumbai Indians always have, and obviously KKR also. Let's not forget KKR. KKR also generally KKR tend to have good spin bowlers, and they rely a lot on those spin bowlers to win them the tournaments. And think about the part Stark played in the important part of 24 tournament 24 season, handling pressure, from the ability to handle pressure from your bowling group will help you in winning tournaments. And when we will discuss the teams of this year, we will obviously look at which teams
Yes.
have the best bowling lineup under pressure. So we will discuss that.
So there can be two things. Either you have a
Hmm.
very, very strong spin department who can, dismantle
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
batting lineup in the middle overs, or
Hmm.
you will need a very dangerous death bowling. So
Hmm.
if you have either of the two, then your bowling
Hmm.
lineup will not be a big issue. So
Hmm.
if you are not having a very good death bowling lineup, then you will have to make sure that you are you are absolutely dismantling a batting lineup
Hmm.
inside the middle overs itself. So that is
Hmm.
one thing that all the teams should be looking at.
Yeah.
If I look at the death bowling and the kind of a contribution that the death bowling has had over for all the World Cup winning teams, Malinga, Bumrah, Bhuvaneshwar, then Mustafizur. last year Yash Dayal and Bhuvaneshwar,
Hmm.
also Hazelwood. I think all their campaigns, you will find, players like this, who have contributed too much in their death pulling line.
I think role clarity is also important.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you think
So
about, you look at any team, and also look at the campaign that RCB had earlier. They used to have very explosive players, but now they have mix of players who are playing different roles. So let's talk about the role clarity also, because I think that's another aspect that champion teams generally have.
yes, yes, yes. So as I was mentioning that let the Indian players be the utility players and let you have like
Hmm.
have the overseas experts. So say for example, if you
Hmm.
are having two top quality openers or maybe two out of the first three batsmen are overseas, then they
Hmm.
must be knowing that their job is to, go all guns blazing. If
Hmm.
you are having a proper fast bowler as an overseas bowler, then that overseas bowler must be knowing at which point
Hmm.
he will be the expert. So now, if I
Hmm.
am talking about the utility players, young players who will be coming in, in bits and pieces of the game, you will have to
Hmm. Hmm.
clarify what exactly you are looking for them. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
what exactly you want from them. If whether
Hmm.
it's a four wall, it might be a four wall 10 runs. It might be
Hmm.
as a very economical over of maybe he will give only 7 runs in that over. So that
Hmm.
level of
Hmm.
very proper role clarity needs to be given when it comes to
Hmm.
the young players, when it comes to the players who are not
Hmm.
yet
Hmm.
having the international exposure and everything.
And I think the teams with role clarity will have the most complete and balanced squads
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
sides and first 11, with I think with the least number of weak links, and then they can then the so we were talking about the comeback ability or bounce back ability that comes from that. When you have
Absolutely.
role clarity, when you have least number of weak links, when you have a balanced team, you can have off days, but it's the chances of bouncing back in a particular tournament will be higher for those teams. And that's why you will see that Mumbai Indians and CSK, they have the most numbers of trophies, because they have that role clarity, and they have that complete and balanced team each year. Obviously, they can't win all the seasons, but still, they each year they have good teams, and they somehow think in that direction. How they can have more role clarity and complete team.
I can give you
Let's
one
also talk.
I can give you one
Yeah.
example that happened last season. Prabsimran and Priyan
Yeah.
Sharia, two openers from Punjab,
Hmm.
both are uncapped, and they were
Hmm.
given the license
Hmm.
to go, all guns blazing inside the power play. And
Hmm.
just because of the fact that they were so clear within their heads that they can play all the shots they're having up their sleeves. And these two, I
Hmm.
think, one of the most formidable opening combination, and that too from the
Hmm.
two uncapped players. So that level of role
Hmm.
clarity must be given to the youngsters so that
Hmm.
they do not have any confusion while playing. Yeah.
So one other thing I can think of is the champion teams generally peak at the right time. They
Yes.
they
Yes. Yes.
know this is the time when they have to be there at their best. They might have terrible start, and we see that all the time with Mumbai Indians, and they somehow peak at the right time, and we have seen that with CSK also. I have seen Dhoni talking about this peaking at the right time in many interviews also, that you can't be switched on every time, but you have to, in any field, you have to understand this is the time when now you have to switch on, and you have to be your best. And that's what he generally implements in his team, and in all the seasons. Again, you can't win all the seasons, but that's the pattern we generally see with CSK also. They know now is the time when they have to pick, and that's what we saw from KKR also in 24. They picked at the right time. Stark also clicked at the right moment, and that's how we won the tournament. So I think that's also another important aspect to win tournaments, and champion teams generally do that, and that's one pattern I can spot.
Yeah.
All
I think
yeah
when we will be discussing the squad analysis, I think these are some of the points that we
yeah
will have to figure out while we will be evaluating the squads here. Mm.
yeah. So I think we almost have covered all the points. Obviously, there are other points also, and we will request the viewers to write in the comment box which are the other aspects that they think is important to win tournaments. And with that, let's end this episode, and we once we are really feeling excited about this year's IPL, because almost all the teams on paper are looking great, although there are obviously injury concerns in almost all the teams, but still our hunch and our assessment is we'll have a great tournament, and we really liked this conversation, because at least I now feel a bit nostalgic thinking about
Yeah.
all the IPL seasons. I still remember how I used to watch these matches. We used to have a common TV room in my BTech days, and we used to sit down and watch those matches. I remember I watched Yuvraj Singh's six sixes in that TV room. So now that TV room came back to me, and the way those were the days of frustration for me as a KKR fan, because KKR used to do really badly in those days. We used to win, obviously, we used to win few matches, but most of the times the bad days were more
More often.
than good days. More often we used to lose matches, and but as a fan, obviously we stuck with that team, and it's not like we don't like other teams. The IPL as a tournament we like, and we almost watch out for players and teams and see how each of the players and each of the teams are doing. And obviously KKR will have a different place in our hearts, but we also like other teams. It's not like we are totally biased towards KKR. We want our team to do well, but we also like other teams. And because our players, Indian players, and players from other countries that we like are in
Yes, absolutely.
other teams. So we will obviously watch and discuss all the matches in this year's IPL, and we are excited, and we hope all of you are excited too. And with that note, let's end this episode.